we can probably get started. Is someone taking notes? I'm gonna run the meeting today.
I'll take notes, mate.
Thanks a lot, Brett. You're always like volunteering for the notes. We need to like start switching you off.
Just a quick question. Another person wanted to join the call, Brent also. So do we need to send him invites separately because he messaged on the GitHub as well as in the Gitter?
Yeah, should we start letting more people join the cat herders?
Okay, then I'll send him the link.
Oh, I was asking, oh no, Pooja, I was asking if we should.
Oh.
I think it makes sense when people clearly want to contribute something. I like that it's kind of semi-open, right? Like this guy's been asking a bunch of stuff in the Gitter the past week or two, and I think we should let people join, but not necessarily have it be like an open call that just anyone can join. I don't know what everyone else thinks.
I like your guide. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying I like that approach. Like anybody who asks can join. You know what I mean?
I like the guideline of someone with something clear that they want to contribute. Like if there's some sort of clear angle of contribution.
I agree. That person just mentioned that he and his partner wanted to join the call. He didn't mention specifically for what, but he said that he wanted to.
I say let's let them join.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay. And while we're doing that, we'll get started and we'll make sure that they get a full invite to the next meeting if they're not able to join this meeting since we're sending them the invite so late.
Yeah, okay.
Perfect. All right, let's get started. Update on ProgPow audit. We ran into some logistical issues, which is delaying it, which sucks, but we're working through that right now as fast as we can. And yeah, basically we had some participants for the funding have some issues. So we're trying to work those out right now. It shouldn't be something we can't work out, but it is something that's kind of a speed bump. I think that's the only update I have on that, really, without revealing who's giving money. Let's see. If there's nothing else.
Do we have just a quick question? Do you have a current target date in mind for when the audit will start, or target for when it will be complete?
No, I don't. And that is a big issue, but it's kind of what we're working with right now. So I think during the core dev meeting, I'm going to give an update, and by then it's going to be a little more clear, hopefully, the start and end date. But if it's not, I think I want to get y'all's opinion. What I might pitch is having a single hard fork for ProgPow after the audit is done, if the audit cannot be complete by Istanbul. How do you all think that would be received?
I personally agree with that one.
I would personally push back on a single hard fork for ProgPow. 2 reasons. The first being we're trying to get a more regular cadence. So there's been work to try and get hard forks every 6 months. So it's not the end of the world if it waits. And also because of the risk of a network split, if it's like a single issue hard fork, where it's not as much like a full Ethereum network upgrade as it is, this is ProgPow. So I think there's always a danger when we have this single contentious change rather than like a bundle of changes.
What would be the reason to do a hard fork specifically for ProgPow without anything else, just to save on the time?
It would be because we've been wanting to put it in. And also there has been some argument from multiple people to have smaller hard forks for stuff as they come up. So like be rolling them out every 4 months or something. But at the same time, we're also, I think we kind of landed on 6 months, as Tim mentioned. So because of that, I am thinking there would be some pushback. So I might mention it in the all core devs chat. I'm going to write that down to do. So I'm going to mention it in all core devs chat and see what we can do from there.
What would we lose by putting it in a schedule and just sort of immediately announcing the next hard fork and putting ProgPow on the roster?
I'm not sure. There was a reason people wanted it in more quickly, and I'm blanking on why.
I think it's kind of what you mentioned earlier, where like this was talked about at DevCon last year, and I think the people who were advocating for it were kind of tired of the delays, and that was the biggest reason, right? They wanted it as soon as possible, and I think at the time those conversations were happening, it wasn't clear yet when the next hard fork would be.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And if that's the only reason, though, I mean, it would seem reasonable to just slate it into the schedule. It's not that there's a pressing network need. I mean, without trying to downgrade politics, it sounds like that's more of a political need.
Yeah, it's kind of a political need. It's also kind of as ASICs proliferate on the network, the risk becomes higher, according to some people.
Announcing ProgPow has a dampening effect on ASICs also, though.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
So I guess, yeah, just to time box this, maybe it's worth just having a specific action item on all core devs to say, like, there's an issue with the audit, there might be delays. What do we do if it's not ready in time for Istanbul?
Yeah.
So I think going to all core devs and asking that question is a very bad idea, because I think it will then proceed to take up 45 minutes of bike shedding. I highly recommend having a specific proposed action plan that we go to and say, this is kind of the default unless anyone has objections, like voice them now. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and also a discussion on the core devs chat and Gitter, I think, along with that.
Yeah. Yep.
Propose the action plan in the chat.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put that down, and I'll do that.
But given how strongly people feel about ProgPow, I think it makes sense, as Tim was saying, to dilute ProgPow with other EIPs in a future hard fork, right?
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me as well. I just think there's going to be some pushback, but I'll see. I mean, there's only so much you can do about pushback anyway because of the reality of the situation. Okay, so the next one, hard fork coordination update.
So Boris is not on the call, but I saw he's been pushing for a meeting this summer in Seattle to basically have the same people, more or less, as in Berlin, to follow up on both the 1.x working group and the hard fork. So that's the only update I have on the hard fork coordination.
Okay, sounds good. Ethereum 2.0 update. I'm not sure what that agenda item means. Can someone, I missed the last meeting. Can someone elaborate?
Yeah, we just had a catch up with Danny Ryan about 2-3 weeks ago, just before ETH New York, just to see where the Ethereum cat herders could potentially fit in with the Ethereum 2 project. At this stage, he couldn't give any specific idea of where we would potentially fit in, but it kind of what we've done with Ethereum 1, we will basically join calls, start taking notes, and as opportunities start presenting themselves, putting our hands up and saying, we'll take that on. Chris Remus also mentioned that he's been working with a pretty good little tool. And so that might be worthwhile trying to capture what the different teams are doing and potentially managing that tool, and then ultimately perhaps helping to coordinate a multi-client testnet.
That sounds like a good idea. I like that. Okay. Updates on action items from the Constantinople post-mortem. I saw there was some movement on that, so I'm curious to see what's been going on. Or actually, has anyone in this chat on that? I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm looking at a couple of things. I'm going to see if there's a couple of things I can take care of, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, like a couple of things I have done that is there in action item 11.1. That is, again, the same thing related to the Constantinople postmortem thing. I just have created a document, kind of template that we can use further in case of emergency when we need to reach out to our community, how we should do that. I mean, if anyone wants, they can have just a look at it.
Okay, that sounds good. Next, update on Ethereum development. Oh, go ahead.
Hey, sorry to jump in. I don't have the agenda in front of me because I'm on my cell phone. I did want to briefly, I guess this is related to ProgPow as well, just talk about the multi-sig and the funds from Gitcoin. I don't know if you want to do that now or later. It's up to you.
Oh, let's do it now because you have to drop off in 8 minutes.
Cool. Yeah, so I know, Hudson, you and I had briefly discussed this. So just to recap, there was a particular number on the Gitcoin bounty that said we raised, well, I don't know if we is the right word, but that particular bounty raised some amount of money, and I believe that number was greater than 15,000 DAI. Does that sound correct?
It was 15,300 roughly.
Right. Yeah, that's what I remember. However, when we checked the multi-sig, there was like less than that, right? So we're like, something's wrong. The math doesn't add up. So I did follow up with Gitcoin on that. They haven't yet managed to completely explain why there's a discrepancy, but what they did do is send over a spreadsheet with some more information in it, and it includes the CLR match data. Have you seen that yet, Hudson?
No, I haven't. I don't think, was that on an email or?
I think it was just shared from.
Oh, Lane, I think
discrepancy still. Oh, sorry. Can you hear me? Hello.
I can hear you now.
Yeah, sorry, having data issues. That discrepancy, I just wanted to let everyone know that discrepancy still exists. I'm still trying to get to the root of why it happened. They originally said something about exchange rates, but that doesn't really make sense because DAI doesn't really fluctuate, or at least it's not supposed to. And I guess I don't think we've actually received the CLR funding yet, but they did tell us how much we're supposed to receive. So that's my.
Okay, great.
Let's add an action item to follow up on this again before or during the next call to try to iron out exactly how much funding we have.
Cool. So we don't have 15,000 DAI in our account right now then, or do we?
Well, I think you sold some of the data token and to top it up. So I think we may have around that amount, but it didn't all come from Gitcoin is the point I'm trying to make. And there are 1 or 2 outstanding funding tickets on GitHub that I think are waiting for you, Hudson, when you have a chance to look at them.
Yeah,
okay.
I submitted the one for the Zoom account, and it should be up there to just be approved.
Perfect. Okay, I will look at that. All right.
In fact, we should probably add funding as a permanent agenda item for these meetings, just to spend 5 minutes to quickly go over like any outstanding requests or.
Okay.
Done.
All right, I'm going to look at the ECH account tickets. All right. Update on the Ethereum development portal.
Yeah, I guess that's me. So I was actually, should we also talk about the chat we had with Terry Hudson?
Yeah, that's a good idea. I forgot to add that on there. Yeah. If you want to take that away, and then me and Lane can chime in.
Yeah, sure. So I guess a couple of weeks ago, Greg from ChainSafe introduced me to Terry he leads ETC Labs, so Ethereum Classic Labs. and they were interested in working with us and helping us. Well, actually, the main goal is to potentially work on a developer portal that includes both the Ethereum kind of ecosystem as well as the ETH Classic ecosystem, and then encourage interop between the two. And yeah, a couple weeks ago, there was that consensus developer portal. And I was speaking to a couple other people to see if it was just a complete overlap of what we were looking at. And it turns out it's not. It's just kind of a page where there's a bunch of resources and links to other projects. So I'm going to continue the conversation with Nina and her partner about designing that, because they had done play.ethereum.org, which includes a new Solidity editor and a bunch of workshops. And the thing missing from the community is the interactive workshops for new devs, existing devs, and just that network to bring it all together. So we're going to keep talking about that hopefully this week. I do admit that it is going a lot slower than would be ideal, but we're going to try to keep ramping it up as we go, get more people involved, and hopefully that just streamlines the process.
Great. Lane, did you have anything to add?
You mean on the meeting with Terry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think any specific action items came out of that meeting. Let me know if I've forgotten anything. It was more.
Oh, Lane, you cut out again.
Oh, jeez.
You said if there was any other action items, then you would, and then you cut out. Oh no, we're losing Lane. Oh, Lane, now you're staticky.
Oh,
you might wait till
hi,
there's a
can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I think I'm back. Okay, sorry. I'm in New York, and my phone keeps hopping from like open Wi-Fi to open Wi-Fi. Just turned off my Wi-Fi. I think that was the issue. Sorry about that. So I just wanted to make the point that there are two entities. I believe they're known as ETC Labs and ETC Cooperative in the Ethereum Classic space. So Terry represents ETC Labs. They have an accelerator based in San Francisco for projects building on ETC, obviously, but you know, I think that increasingly they want to support projects that are how do I put it, that are kind of part of the broader Ethereum ecosystem and just generally collaboration, which I personally support. I think there is an interesting question here that we may want to discuss now or later about to what extent the cat herders are interested in collaborating with ETC or with other blockchains in general. Again, I have pretty strong feelings on this, but you know, I don't want the cat herders to be too political either way. And I guess the door is open there for us to help out with ETC stuff or send interesting projects their way, or I don't know, just more collaboration in general. That was my takeaway from the meeting. Please add.
Yeah, my takeaway was that they are looking for collaboration on obviously ETC stuff, if that's something we would ever want to eventually do, but also cross Ethereum ecosystem stuff. So like a developer portal for both ETC and ETH, since it's the same general EVM1 stuff. So yeah, that's kind of an opportunity that's open there, but we're not acting on it like in any way this second, because we would need to talk it over with everybody and see what we would even want to do with that.
Anything I've missed? I think an interesting question, and this is not something we discussed explicitly, but an interesting question would be, is there value that the cat herders can create for ETC? And if so, might it make sense for us to seek some funding from ETC in exchange for that? So just throwing that on the table, not necessarily something.
Okay, sounds good. What's the next one? Website design?
Yeah, I think that's me. So the good news is that finally the website has been updated, and we no longer have all those links pointing to past EAPs, and now we have a link just pointing to the GitHub repo with all all the AIPs that have been proposed for Istanbul. So that's done. If we want to make simple changes like this one, it's pretty easy and straightforward. I wasn't expecting it to be so easy. But then if we want, I think the question we should ask ourselves is like, what do we really want to do with the website? Should we just leave it as it is, which is super simple and very basic, or do we have any ideas of, you know, how Ethereum cat headers website should look like, and most importantly, what the main function of the website should be? So I'm leaving those questions here.
Okay. Any other comments?
Yeah, just a thought. Like here, I see that the link for Istanbul, it goes to week. It's not going up to 1679. I believe 1679 is the meta, and it would be more appropriate to put it over there. And just a thought.
I remember I changed that. So if it's not working, I'll take a look and see what happened. I'll do that this afternoon after the call.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. ECH Zoom Pro account. I think we bought that, and that's all good, right?
Critical at this moment. Yes, that has been set up. It is tied to a shared Gmail account, which I can't remember who it was. Someone set that up for us as well. The funding, so I put that on a personal credit card. Unfortunately, unfortunately, not everything is on chain yet, so that has to be tied to a person of record and a credit card, etc. So the reimbursement request for that is outstanding with the receipt posted. I think the last item of business here is to make sure that all the people who need access to it have access to it, both the email as well as the Zoom account. So we should discuss how to pass that password around.
Okay, great. We can take that to Telegram for sure.
Yep. And can someone please approve Lane's expenditure?
Yeah, I'm the last one to do it. So I have that on my list to do today.
Cool.
One last little thing on this point. We should probably switch these meetings over, because I think, Hudson, they're still on your account, or I'm not sure because Helena set up the meeting.
Okay.
Those should probably be switched over to the cat herders account, obviously, so multiple people can host, change, etc. And I put out there to folks like Danny Ryan, other folks who organize other meetings in the Ethereum ecosystem, that kind of we're at their disposal. And from my perspective, I mean, this account is community funded. And so if he or if anyone else who's organizing any other meetings wants us to step in and do things like set up meetings or record them or whatever, they can just basically file a PR, and we're happy to do it. I don't think that that's going to happen tomorrow. I don't think that the ETH2 calls or the all core devs calls necessarily need to be moved immediately, but just to get.
Yeah, that sounds great. And yeah, I'll move my meeting off of here once I get the login info for that we'll share.
And that's an option now.
Do we have any other business? I think we've been doing a really great job lately, despite the fact that all of us have, or most of us have, like real life jobs that aren't this. So good job, everyone. Yay.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Oh,
thanks,
I have a super quick update, but we had this governance process stuff going on. So my PR has been accepted by the EIP editors. I tried to basically update EIP1 to have more information around the non-technical parts of Galenian EPIN. And so I posted the link to it in the All Core Devs agenda for this week in case anyone has any pushback or feedback. But I think after that, it'll probably get merged in, and that'll be kind of good enough until the next big governance documentation we want to do.
Okay, sounds good. Bye, Lane.
Nice work, Tim.
Yep, great work, Tim. Hudson, agreed. Let's celebrate the early wins. Yeah, I'm going to drop off in just a sec. So thank you guys for a fantastically productive call. Have a great week, and I think we're doing bi-weekly, right?
That's my understanding.
Cool.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right, bye. We can do the action items now. All right, the first one, Joe to post updated communication checklist to the ECH internal Gitter channel. I actually
Yes.
forgot what the communication checklist is.
So that was just the checklist that we originally had for running through to the different people in case we had an emergency or whatever. And it was just the list of names and so on. So Joe mentioned a little while back he might have a more updated copy, but I think that updated copy is originally Taylor's copy. So we assume we've already got the most up-to-date one, so that one can be closed.
Okay, great. And Hudson will work with Charles on making a post about the ProgPow audit. We have the outline of the post. We don't have details because it hasn't started yet. So we'll get that done once it's started.
Okay.
Multi-sig key holders to work on separating the funds. Charles, that's not done because we are waiting for the Gitcoin action, right?
Yeah, correct.
See everyone in 2 weeks. Yeah, I think we need to finish the accounting to know exactly which balance belongs to which of those two things.
Yeah.
And
Cat herders to review the document created by Pooja. That document is, I'm opening it right now. The emergency communication document. Great. This looks good. So I can review this today. And if anyone else wants to make comment on it as well.
Yeah, I can do that as well. I still have it open. Just last week, I had forgot about it, so my mistake.
Open the Constantinople postmortem. This is 11.2. Open the Constantinople postmortem action items up to the community and let them know we are looking for assistance in completing them. Is the postmortem action items done? Because I thought we were still working on them.
Yeah,
No,
we're
it
still
is not.
working on them.
Okay. Cool.
So
we
yeah,
can-
the idea was to open it up to the Gitter to get people to kind of put together these templates or rubrics and just general sourcing from the community if they're interested. If we'd like, you could also put it out on Twitter, but I think the Gitter is just perfect.
Yeah, I just mentioned that in our previous newsletter as well, that we are looking help for this Constantinople postmortem action items.
Okay, great. Action item 11.3, set up a call with the Ethereum development portal stakeholders. That is Charles.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
It was set up a call with Ethereum development portal stakeholders.
Oh yeah, so last week was hard to coordinate everyone. So I'm gonna set up a chat with Nina and a couple others this week, hopefully, and get that plan in motion.
Wonderful.
So just going back quickly to 11.2, Justin Pooja, is that closed now? Opening of the Constantinople postmortem actions to the community, or is that still open, needing to be done?
It is still open.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay. 11.4, update the website to remove redundant data for the last network upgrade and point it to Istanbul. That's done from Hugo.
Yes, I just have to check out what happened with the link, which is still pointing to the wiki, but you can. It's basically done.
It's the new wiki rather than the old wiki.
Yeah. 11.5, create a website brainstorming document so that people can contribute to ideas for the Ethereum Cat Herders website. I forgot if anyone was supposed to do that.
Helen was going to create something, I think, and post it in the chat.
Oh, okay.
I can check out with her and see what. Yeah, I can coordinate with her.
Okay, thanks, Hugo. Procure a Zoom Pro account for the Cat Herders. That is done. And then that's 11.6. This next one is 11.7. Look into creating a generic email account for the Cat Herders Zoom Pro account. That has happened. We forgot who did it.
That was myself. Yep.
Oh, okay. That was Brett. Great. All right. That is all of the action items. Do we have anything else that we need to mention?
No, just one thing, just to clarify, Brett. Brett, 11.2, the Constantine poll postmortem action item is still open, but you can definitely go ahead and close this action 11.2 because we have mentioned it to community, and I will keep on repeating it in every newsletter as long as it is closed.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, anybody else? Okay, talk to everybody in 2 weeks. This has been good. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.